everyone? Welcome back to AsArt with Nick, John, and our expert Kyle. We are digging into Raised by Wolves comments for season 2. A lot of interaction, a lot of fun, and some hilarious comments. So we're going to dig into this and just have some fun with all this.
Yes, a lot of fun theories and stuff. Thank you guys so much for all the comments. And yes, I did say the truth instead of the trust.
From now on, you're going to trust him to say the truth.
Yes,
but
me and John are going to do better, especially me. I'm going to do better at getting the names right and stuff like that and I know it's called fuel blood, but I call it milk because it looks like milk. I kind of like the milk thing, but I will correct myself. Every time I say milk, I'll make sure to say fuel blood. All right, guys, let's get into this. Kyle's going to be reading our comments. He's a sci-fi guy. He has an awesome Instagram account. Go check him out. Pecos with a 0. He does amazing sci-fi stuff. He's working on his own little comic book. Not comic book, graphic novel. Yes. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Okay, Kyle, read off the first comment.
So this is from Pacific Harbor Kiddo. My theory with grandmother is that she was built by the ancient humans on that alien world. I remember in season 1 that those soul believers on Earth got knowledge of building of the necromancer from an unknown signal from space.
Yeah.
So, so that one was one of mine. So Pacific Harbor, great for catching that, just because I always forget what happened in season 1, right? Like, it was such a blur. Yeah. But at the same time, like, we do get those flashbacks, right, of like what's going on, what went down on Earth, right?
Yes.
So, yeah.
I know. I was very happy in the last review we did that. I remembered that, and I mentioned it to John because I was like, John, it was passed down through the text too, right? Because they heard the audio and then they wrote it in like their biblical text or what, in their books. So I was like, oh my gosh. So this is kind of cool too, because it goes on along with a lot of other comments we had and stuff where like it's almost maybe whatever the program is he like destroys the planet, he moves, and then he comes back. He's like jumping from planet to planet, like starting it, restarting it, starting it, restarting it to kind of. And now that there's humans there's like more fuel for his religion or blood or source or power source to power up again.
Huh. That's interesting. Like, so where did the name grandmother come from though? Because when I started reading the comments, I'm like, who's grandmother? And then I realized, it's the shining light being that.
Yes. So
showed because she has a female sort of like physiology. I noticed. Okay.
So our awesome viewers found that out through IMDb. So they researched upcoming characters. One is called grandmother, and they kind of made the connection. We have father, mother. Makes sense that grandmother would be a robot.
Don't we have great viewers? They're pounding the pavement. They're finding out facts. That's great.
And unlike Wikipedia, IMDb isn't as easy to like put up fake stuff on. So if it's on IMDb, it's probably a little bit more real.
True.
So that's
verificado.
And I'm just curious. Nick and I have talked about this in some of the episode reviews, but I'm curious to get Kyle's take. So they don't do the episode flashbacks. Do you think not having those makes the impact of the reveal when we find out a thing even more? Or do you think having those episode flashbacks helps you follow along in a more coherent manner? Like if we think of like Game of Thrones and things like that. So, or maybe we're not so many seasons in, we don't need it like we did for Game of Thrones.
So I would say this, in large part, yes, it does help the story and like help us recall, but I think like maybe this is the intention of Ridley Scott or like the directors and stuff. But I think that they kind of are like expecting their audience to be adults about it and like just, like remember stuff. And if they don't remember, go back and try to refer to it and connect the dots rather than having them spoon feed us it.
So, that's funny because it might be the platform you're watching it on because I get an episode recap with the desktop.
Okay, so you do get so John, you're talking about episode recap.
At the beginning, right? Like we're like before the show starts. It's like well, not episode recap, but like what happened previously on. Yeah.
So you're getting that?
Yeah.
I'm getting that
with
too.
The desktop.
I'm not getting that. How dare you guys?
So you know what? While this is going on, can you read the other comment about where to find the extra trailer stuff really quickly, Kyle?
Extra trailer. Let me see here.
Or it's like.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Yeah, is this hey, where are those videos at end of show? I can't find them either. This is from Mariella Neuwirth.
Okay, so me and John have been talking because every time I do Every time we do a review, I'm like, oh, and then this at the end, and John's like, I didn't see that.
What am I talking about? That's like the big, great confusion between us. And it's a wonderful thing that we can consume all this media on whatever device you have. But Nick has been watching it on a PC. I've been watching it on an NVIDIA Shield, and the apps give you a more or less same interface, but some of the peculiarities might be a little bit different. So yeah, I'm curious if it shows up for everybody else as well.
Because it's definitely showing up on the desktop and not showing up for John for sure. And he's missing all the John. I think you need or maybe watch it first on your computer, then go over to your TV, and then come back and watch the recaps.
And
okay, let's go to the next one.
All right. So this comes from Chief Keen. I don't think the trust is dead. Think he's in a coma. Thought Mother just got the power for him to maybe bring back later. I feel like if she really wanted to destroy truth or trust, I'm going to... Okay, also, these comments I'm going to read as they're written, all right? Yeah. So if you guys have bad grammar, that's staying in there.
Or if you repeat what I said, which was wrong.
Yeah. So I feel like if she really wanted to destroy truth, she would just do her scream and blow it up. I think that's a really good point from Chief Keen. I mean, we might see the trust come back. I was, what I was actually kind of thinking? I thought Mother was going to subsume trust. Like she was going to become trust.
Like download the...
Yeah.
I thought she was destroying that panel with her breath so she could like kind of tap in there. I thought that was going to be when she was doing that. Instead, we got this 2001 Space Odyssey where she was unplugging all the power things.
Which was another comment we had too, actually. There was someone saying that in the comments.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I mean, so the thought there would be it's just shut down, but you had this really organic looking matter in that cylinder. So it's like, it goes back almost like the serpent. Is it part biological, part mechanical like the serpent is, or is it dead, or is it just? My thought would be if the guy came in, the main military guy, and he's like, oh no, talking like you would if someone was dead, and then you see mass hysteria broken out.
Tamerlane.
I was just saying that it would seem like it was dead because the guy was so bummed out, but at the same time, there's definitely a mixed reaction on that. And you know what? It's the same for robots and androids. If you don't see the thing die, blowing up type thing, then they may still come back. So,
and it's a program. If there was a backup on a zip drive somewhere, they could plug it in, eat it, or whatever, however they transfer data here in this universe and world. There's probably a backup of a backup on a hard drive somewhere on a ship.
Yep. Probably.
Okay, next comment.
All right, let's see here. Baba booey. All right. So, I'm just upset Marcus, Travis Fimmel, the actor, lost his power. And this comes from Wheels Inspector.
I love these usernames, by the way.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part.
That is
I love
half the joy.
Questions and the comments, but my favorite thing is I want to hear who is the person who wrote it down. Yeah.
Well, I kind of agree with the statement, too, because I brought up in the last review that we did that it feels like Marcus is going on the same path again. I feel like, he gets this awesome power, he gets this following, then he loses it, and then he dives down deep in, and then he goes crazy.
You said this a couple episodes back, far before this happened. You're like, I wonder if he's going to go down the same arc where he has this power and then he loses it. It's like, wow, the exact same thing happened again.
Yeah.
But
wait a minute.
We got a lot of hope in the trailer, though, because it looks like he goes searching for more power, and it looks like very promising. We're gonna get more planet lore. Go on, Kyle. I'm sorry.
Nice, but jog my memory. What was the first time he gained power? What did he?
It's not that he gained power, but he had like a following. Like he had like
I was hearing the voice at the time.
There you go. That's what. Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
The voice was his power, and then he had the eyes, which was his power. This episode, he gets the following. He gets the believers. He loses the voice. He loses the eyes, and now he begins his downward spiral to look for something. So
yeah,
to look for new eyeballs to swallow, or whatever objects he can find to swallow.
Not gonna go there. No.
That's awesome, John.
Don't swallow my eyeball, man. Yeah.
All right. So, lifelong geek. Same here, bud. Says, hey guys, enjoyed the review. In this episode, they emphasize that the androids had their programming built in and can't be changed multiple times. At the end, where Grandma, quote unquote, shines in front of Father, I'm thinking Grandma has the power to reprogram. So I chose this one, and I think Lifelong Geek might be right, just because we see that flash in his eyes.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, that's cool. So who knows? Like, she might be like the foundational precursor model or something.
It's either reprogramming, or maybe she can download the info of another robot, like, directly.
Whoa.
You know what I mean? Like super fast, ultra thunder cable 10,000, style, where it's just like
Thunderbolt, you mean? Thunder cable.
I don't
So,
know.
again, guys,
she's like a beam of light, so I'm trying to think of like thunder stuff. But
again, guys, jog my memory. How did Father come about that skeleton of that form of that ancient
remember
android?
when they were
It was in a
looking for
cave,
food,
right?
Yeah, they were like looking for food, and he comes across the head and the brain, and he recognizes like, oh, this is an ancient robot. Then he got all the other bones, and he brought him back, and he started Frankensteining it.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
then which led to him. I mean, what was it? Episode 3. I could have. He's like predicted his like death so many times. He's like, love will be the death of all of us, or whatever. Like so many times he like stated he was gonna die, and then even anyway, you go watch the episode. I think Father is gonna die, and I think maybe his consciousness or something's gonna be transferred to the new robot or transferred into another robot, because we had the foreshadowing. We can just transfer your memory. You can never die almost, as long as you have your USB stick, which we saw with the trust. So we didn't see it die or completely destroyed. I mean, just push them back in, I'm guessing, right? Like, how hard can that be? Anyways, next one.
I feel like they would have done that if they could. I don't know.
They're like so lost. It's like people nowadays, right? Like if everyone's phones were to break and you had to call someone, you'd be like, "What's their number?"
unless all the humans are so dumb, they're like ants, where if you destroy the scent, but they can still see each other, like, "Oh my God, I'm lost." Like, unless they're that dumb, they should have been able to put back in those power, slots. Unless Mother took those and we just didn't see her take them.
So I mean, if we think about it, I mean, just from a computational perspective, like if we turn off the power all of a sudden to a PC, there is information loss, right? So like specifically around like let's say your current state or progress where you were in let's say an app or in the browser, right? So like I would imagine that even if they do turn the trust back on, there will be some semblance of like stuff that's not recoverable, right?
That'd be
I don't know.
cool.
That's just me.
Or maybe maybe this new robot's gonna like consume the trust or something like that too.
Kyle kind of said, he goes, I almost feel like maybe that grandmother can take in all of the android at once, like as it's going with the super fast rate. It's like, well, in that case, we saw that beaming android off where Camping was going to get shot by that guy, so it had been around. It would make sense that maybe that thing was around the trust as well. So if that's the case, then maybe it's taken in all that stuff. And obviously we're going way off into like just kind of theory territory here, but it makes for a very fun thing to think about where it's going to go.
If we're going into theory territory, we're right where we want to be, because this is an episode about theory. Yes, I love it. Okay, so this comes directly from the mind of Raymond Theobald. Okay, my theory is Soul is on Earth doing something that required life to be there prior, but needed life gone before his arrival. Every couple million years, he switches back and forth from Earth to Kepler. Interesting.
Totally doable, because maybe that's why the voice is gone now too.
Right. Okay.
Because like technically, no one has heard the voice since who heard it last?
Paul.
Yes, Paul. Yes, Paul must have heard it last, because I think Marcus was already like confused because he couldn't hear it, and that's when Paul was able to hear it. And then no one else has heard the voice since.
So it's like Soul is like some sort of planetary wide being of some kind, or presence,
which kind of makes sense too, because so you know how we saw the robot skeleton, it was kind of has like the honeycomb shape to it. which is very similar to Mother's too. When she had that very same kind of pattern and shape.
True.
And on the planet, we'll see that same shape sticking out of the sand
Oh,
randomly too. So it's like, is this matter growing? And then what happens when
my
light?
God.
What happens when light hit the light hit the body of the robot? Life grew on it. Remember how life grew on it? I'm like, is this planet like, is it scattered? Is it like all over the place? And that's how there's life on the planet in the first place? So,
I'm glad I'm sitting down because, oh boy.
Well, we've
I'm
got to
getting
remember
faint.
too, the biosphere is only in that one small area of the planet too, right? So maybe the biosphere is just where those honeycomb things are at, and that's why that's a tropical zone. I mean, that could be a possibility as well. And remember, they said the voice doesn't go into the biosphere, right? So maybe there's something specific about that kind of, because the whole rest of the planet looks like it's fairly dead, which is very.
Well,
very
we've only
interesting.
seen 2 sections of it, right? There can be other sections through the other holes that come out. I don't know.
Oh, I thought they were just. I thought from scans they were saying there was
maybe.
just a biosphere, but it was
Okay.
on the other side of the planet. But I may be wrong. I'm trying to remember back to season 1, which is I'm definitely forgetting a lot.
There's
That's
a lot
some
in
next
season 1 for
level
sure.
stuff, man. like I kind of have my mind blown right now. These theories, they're very plausible. I gotta say.
So my own theory as far as story beats is that even the writers don't have this stuff completely thought out yet. I seriously think if we get things
Get another
greenlit
Lost.
for season 3, season 4, season 5, they'll develop these things, as they go. They're leaving, the trails, and maybe they have a vague idea like most, writers do. But I think probably a lot of this is okay. Like, how much more time do we have to develop the story over?
Now that we think about it more and more, Kyle just said Lost again, like another Lost, and we talked about how this kind of has a Lost feeling. Where think about it, like
Well,
Lost,
I'm glad that you
Lost,
said it too.
You were
'cause,
on a beach and they're on a planet, and what's the main part of Lost, right? You have like John and then the Doctor. You have but you have the man of faith and you have the man of science. And right now we have like the people of faith and the people of science, and they're going to be going to look for a signal. That's like one of the main story plots in Lost at the beginning. They're like, there's a signal of this French, woman. We got to go find her. And it's like this whole other thing. And there's so much mystery to this planet. And there were people on the planet. There were people on the island before they got there. So there's so much just like, I wonder if they're taking beats from Lost. But anyways, that's another thing. Let's get back to the amazing comments.
Inconceivable.
So deep from the forests of Endor, Insurgent Ewok comes out to tell us that Vril and Campion are going to hook up. I believe Campion is the same Campion from Earth. We are dealing with a time loop.
Because he can be a clone.
Yeah. So
or not a clone, but yeah.
No. The thing is, I picked that one because I liked the idea of the time loop concept that Insurgent Ewok was talking about. Because I mean, who knows? Maybe his interaction with Vril and his outlook on androids, synthetic beings, is his inspiration for creating Mother in the future, right?
Oh.
Now, with him specifically saying that he believes Vril and Campion are going to hook up, that's going to be kind of tough with Vril's face hacked off. But I don't know. Maybe she's remade. You never know. You
know what? You're just superficial, Kyle. You got to look past that, man.
You're right.
Just give
I
her
have
some more milk.
I need more time to grow as a human being, right? You're right, John. You're right.
And as long as there's
Shine
enough
some
gallons
light
of
on your
milk.
face and it'll grow back.
We just need milk.
Yeah.
Oh,
we need
man.
some like
But don't call it milk or
Homelander
you'll get in trouble.
drinking milk kind of thing, right?
All
You know
right.
what? I'm very interested to see if they're going to go down this hardcore, weird right turn into time loop territory. I mean, they've
Lost did
definitely
that
showed
too,
that
warning.
they've definitely showed that they're willing to go down some weird paths with the whole serpent at the end of season 1. That would definitely be a hard turn into some crazy, science fiction type stuff. Whereas I feel like the series doesn't need it to be good, but you know what? It's fine if they do. It's just interesting if they are going to take another huge turn like that.
Right. That's true.
Next one.
All right, guys.
Next one. Shoot
This
'em off.
comes directly from the mind of the only L, or Ellie. I'm not sure how to pronounce that.
Thank
This
you
is
actually so much too for commenting so much in the comments. I saw you replying to other people too. Thank
Okay,
you.
yeah.
That was awesome. Thank
Is
you
it
so much.
so? Is it the only L or the only
Yes.
Ellie? Okay, the only L. Got it. Okay. All right. Has anyone else noticed the whole Greco-Roman god pantheon thing going on in the story? The trust and anagram for Tartarus, Marcus, aka Mars, was rammed, goat, the astrological symbol for Aries, with mother's eyes, filling him with the spirit of Aries, quote unquote. The snake could be Typhon. I have many more examples, but I'll keep this comment short-ish. Lol.
And I picked this one too
Lol.
because I know, Kyle, you're more not you understand this more than I do for sure. I think with more maybe you don't.
You mean in the sense of the
That's
mythological?
like yeah,
themes,
like
or-
the astrology kind of thing with the stars and I feel like you know more than me. Like I was just like, this could make sense. I just have no idea what he's talking about because I just
Right.
don't. I'm not schooled in that like you are.
Well, so it's like it's interesting because like the only astrological connection we have is the so that's the thing. The astrological symbol for Aries is actually not the goat. That's actually Capricorn. It's
See, I
actually
have
the
no idea what
ram.
I'm
It's
talking
the
about. Okay.
ram that's Aries. If I remember, if my astrology is still good.
Yeah,
but-
well, the reason why I just know you knew it a little better than me, so I was like, oh,
No.
this could be cool. I was hoping you would make sense of it for me.
But I
but
get I
It
I get
doesn't look like you are.
no no. So I get where the only L is coming from, right? I mean, because definitely with the Marcus Mars tie-in, because Marcus is a different way of spelling Mars for like Aries, right? So god of war and stuff like that. If one thing is for certain is that religion can definitely bring about war, right? Especially fervent belief. So yeah, I mean, now I'd have to look into the snake about Typhon and stuff like that. This is the first time I'm kind of seeing this comment. So
Yeah, we kind of just picked random ones.
yeah.
We're not. It's not like we came super prepared. It was like a very last minute. Like, hey, we should just talk about the comments and stuff like that. So forgive us if we are mumbling and fumbling over our words a lot. This is raw. This is very raw.
no, I mean no, but it might be worth looking into. Just the trust. That's interesting.
We'll get
Anagram
back
from
to you on
Tartarus.
another video. Kyle
yeah.
will do his research. He's the expert.
Yeah, we'll take a look at this. I'll put this
Put
on
that
the
on
old,
Kyle's plate.
Yeah, put the deep research department. So that's actually it for the comments that for our personal picks.
That was cool. We just went through really
Yeah.
quickly. Thank you for all the comments. There were so many more and so many more to choose from. There was a lot. And we're going to do our best to, if we keep getting comments like this, we will do our best to do a comment recap after the episodes too, because there's a lot of fun. It gives us brand new perspectives, even just going through and reading them. And me and John were trying to get back to you guys as much as we can. There was a lot. We're like at work, like, oh, this is a good comment. I got to answer this back right now. It's like, just like,
And
trying to
by
get
the way,
back.
again, I was cracking up at all of your YouTube usernames are just amazing.
Yep.
I mean, those are hilarious. And the comments are great too. I mean, Nick was really on top of the comments. I was just scrolling through ones he'd already answered. I was just chuckling like an idiot, just listening to the conversation and stuff. Really, really fun stuff. You guys.
Trying,
thank
guys.
you.
I'm trying.
We love that type of stuff. Thank you very much for watching. Please continue to comment down in the episode reviews that will be continuing for season 2. Check out AsArt.space for all the audio and video links. Check out Pecos with a Zero for all of Kyle's awesome Instagram artwork. And we'll see you on the next AsArt. Shh, comment craziness. It's not milk.